Hello and welcome back to the Euro Spares Breaker. Today we've got another car in for break, which I can only really describe as interesting. It's a Lamborghini Urus in a lovely shade of burnt orange, but I mean, let's have a look at it. Now, as you can see, this is why I've had to refer to it as interesting, because not only is it burnt in colour, it is burnt in reality. I mean, this car has had a massive fire. There's not much going on here, but if we come down a bit, some of the bits off the bottom end will hopefully go again. Now, the car does have the optional salvage exhaust, and as with every part we take off the vehicles, it's fully tested and checked before it goes on the website. So we'll see what the guys come up with this shortly, but let's have another look around the rest of the car because it's a bit more interesting this way. Now, coming around this side of the car, things are starting to look a little bit sunnier, and as you can see, there are some panels on here that will definitely be salvageable. Coming onto the wheel, this wheel actually looks good, to be honest. It will go off to Italy to be refurbed, but that looks fine. We've got the carbon ceramic brake disc, we've got the brake calipers, and then when we get this wheel off, we'll be able to have a look at the suspension, but hopefully some of that suspension will be okay as well. Coming up to the top, I can mention it's got a panoramic roof, but in all honesty, I mean, that's not going again. Moving on to the interior of the car, well, to be honest, there's not really much talking about that. But then coming back down to the front, we're going to have we've got the space saver wheel, which is an option on here as well. That looks good. Ceramic disc again, calipers, and then hopefully some of the suspension and the wishbones will be okay there. But what we'll do, we'll carry on around the front, have a little look at that, and then we'll see what we can do from there. So coming round the front of the car, I'm actually starting to feel a bit more confident because looking at some of these individual components like the grille, the intercooler, some of the parking sensor bit, and actually the headlight. I mean, we've got some marking on the headlight here, but that just looks like it's the PPF, so that will be a good one. Now, coming back into the engine bay, when you look at everything as a whole, especially the whole car, you think, what on earth are we going to salvage? But unfortunately, I don't look at this as a whole car anymore. I look at this as components. And like I mentioned, the headlight and the grills, we've got the ABS pump, and looking really into the depths of the engine and behind the scenes and behind the bits there, I'm actually feeling a little bit more confident that we might actually do okay out of this car. Now, obviously only time will tell. So here we are, we're back in the breaker after a couple of days, and the guys have been working tirelessly to strip a lot of these bits off. The good thing is we can see a lot more of the extent of the damage, but even better than that is we can see some of the bits we've actually managed to salvage from this car. Let's take a look. So first things first, we can see that the guys have got the engine out, and we'll come to that in a second, but realistically, unfortunately, the rest of what we see here is going to go to scrap. I mean, we want to try and salvage as much as we can, and actually even things like this bracket we can probably save, because even the smallest bit like this does help keep these cars on the road, and that is what we are here for. So coming round to the heart of the car, the engine, I mean, clearly we can see that this engine is not going to go again, but we can still salvage parts off the engine itself. Now, cats are designed to take an awful lot of heat, so they should probably go again, but you know, when I start looking around some of these rubber pipes, and when I get into the depths of the engine here, a lot of the individual parts will be good and will go again. And as we spoke about on one of the videos in the past, is that a lot of these parts don't just fit the Lamborghini Urus. They fit Porsches, they fit Bentley, they fit a lot of the other Volkswagen Audi group cars. So this engine being stripped down for spares will help a lot of other vehicles stay on the road. So coming back round the side, as the guys have dropped everything in one go, we've got all of the suspension here, which actually a lot of it on first inspection does look very good. And then we come on to the gearbox. So we were hoping this was going to be good off the back, but I can see there is a little bit of an element of damage down the bottom. So with a lot of the high value bits, we are going to send this back to Italy to get checked over and have any repairs done that's needed before we sell it, so that we can make sure that everything that we supply is perfect and ready to go on a vehicle. I mean, so clearly this shock absorber is not going to go again, and I mean this air spring has completely fallen apart, so that's obviously not salvageable. But going on to the bits that are salvageable, the guys have already started marking them up and putting them on the system. So, you know, all the small trim pieces like this, everything, the brackets, all of these will go onto the website. And coming down, so we've got the handbrake, gosh, very heavy handbrake calipers here. But you know what? I suppose they have to be heavy to stop a 2.5, 3 ton Urus rolling down the hill. So there we are. So the parts from this car, along with all of the other few that we've broken in the past, are on the website now at www.eurospares.co.uk. But for a chance to win a signed Ollie Bearman hat, put in the comments how many parts you think we've actually managed to salvage off this particular vehicle. We'll send out a hat to the person that's closest in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.